Sami Zayn is opening up about some major topics, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's up with Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and more. Starting things off with Roman Reigns and his status. With a recent report going around that TKO is looking to slash expenses and trim down some of the major talent-related contracts, that had a lot of fans wondering about what this situation could mean for Roman Reigns. Roman currently has one of those massive contracts, and not only is his contract massive, he's usually around very rarely and doesn't wrestle many matches within the year. So with all this talk about slashing contracts and saving expenses, that had a lot of fans wondering about where Roman's contract falls in this entire conversation, since he is a big expense that the company doesn't have full-time access to within the year. Roman has been full-time though over the last month, and the company just revealed his May schedule, revealing that Roman will be on every single episode of Raw in the month of May, as well as the premium live event in the end of May. So they're certainly getting their money's worth with Roman Reigns now being full-time for 2 months in a row there. But how about the future of his status and his contract, and will it be affected? Well, as of this moment, reports claim that Roman and his contract are not affected by this current budget cutback situation. Roman's status and relationship with the company remains perfectly intact, and so far, there's no changes there. The only real change we've seen over the last few months is a positive change of seeing Roman being around more often. So that's a big positive thing to notice right there. Roman did promise himself that he was going to put all of the part-time talk to bed this summer and appear on a more consistent basis, and he has lived up to that promise so far. Roman is not currently advertised for Night of Champions in June, but he is scheduled for Clash in Italy and SummerSlam, so he still has some major summer events still lined up right there. Brock Lesnar's current status in the company remains unknown and uncertain. Brock shocked the world when he took his boots and gloves off and retired at WrestleMania 42. It caught everyone off guard because we all had become accustomed to Gunther retiring everyone that was on their way out of the business. That's what the company had been doing over the last few months, just feeding everyone that was retiring to Gunther. They even gave him the full nickname of Career Killer, so everyone figured that they'll throw anyone that's retiring at Gunther's way to continue to build on that persona and nickname. Gunther racked up huge retirement wins such as Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles. But the main criticism with those retirement wins and that entire creative direction with that story is that it never felt like Gunther really retired anybody. He was just retiring stars that clearly announced their retirement ahead of their matches with Gunther. So it kind of took away from the impact of those 3 wins. Those 3 individuals were retiring and leaving the company no matter what. So it didn't really feel like Gunther cut their careers off short or did anything really impressive there. And that's been the main criticism of the career killer gimmick and direction. He's not really ending careers, he's just going after guys that announce their retirement ahead of time. And considering the repetitive nature of that direction and his 3 prior wins, that's why everyone did understandably assume that Brock Lesnar's last match would also be given to Gunther. It just seemed like the perfect ideal scenario for what they've been going for. Here they were with a career-ending gimmick for Gunther, and here's Brock coming to the end of his career. Seemed like a no-brainer, but then of course Brock walks away after WrestleMania 42, and that was the real retirement shocker right there. And that's why some fans actually prefer Brock retiring at WrestleMania 42, because it was unexpected and an actual retirement shock that nobody was ready for. It's refreshing to see a retirement not announced ahead of the match, and it's refreshing to see Gunther not retiring them either. Because if they would have done Gunther versus Brock in a retirement match, there's no real suspense there. We would know that Brock is losing and everyone would be expecting his farewell at the end of that match. But to do it unexpectedly after the Oba match and at WrestleMania, it made Brock's retirement really land even harder. There's been a lot of mixed feelings and reports since Brock retired at WrestleMania. Some people believing that Brock is retired for now, but with the right payday and match, he would consider returning to the ring. Other fans are still holding on to hope that he appears at SummerSlam this year. Some fans are even wondering if Brock retired earlier than expected because of all the contract slashes that are going on. That's not confirmed at all in any way, but it's a theory that's going around from the fans. But the latest update is that Brock Lesnar's profile page has been officially removed from the active roster, and he has now been placed in the alumni section of the company's website, which is another telling sign that Brock may truly be done at this current moment in time. Sami Zayn is in the headlines for some massive topics involving himself. Over the last few weeks, we've seen Sami Zayn go from a babyface to the crowds just booing him out of buildings, Although everyone now looks at Sami Zayn as a heel in his storyline with Trick Williams. The interesting part is that Sami has never really fully turned heel. Sami recently spoke with the Toronto Sun, and he gave his insight to the situation, saying that he doesn't feel like he fully turned heel. Sami explained that he's treating his current character situation much differently than a traditional heel turn. Sami loves the new direction his character is going, and finds it refreshing to sort of be on the fence between heel and babyface. Sami pointed out how he himself hasn't turned on the fans despite them turning on him. His character still gives shoutouts to this true ride or die fans, and Sami is still giving out high fives on his way to the ring. So Sami likes that aspect of it, that he is on the fence and he feels like he hasn't really fully embraced the dark side quite yet. That is a pretty interesting perspective from Sami Zayn, and it's true. The fans are treating Sami Zayn as the heel, but his character itself has not done anything too insane, and his character has not even criticized the fans at all over the last few weeks. That's why Sami's character often seems confused by the reactions he's getting, because he really doesn't know what he did to cause this type of reaction from the fans. What's also fun to consider is that Sami doesn't believe he turned heel yet. So if everything we've been seeing lately is considered a tweener version of Sami Zayn, how much more evil could he look when he really embraces the dark side? That's something to really look forward to right there. Maybe we truly haven't seen anything yet from Sami Zayn, and there's even bigger and darker moments coming up sometime soon. That wasn't the only big story Sami Zayn jumped into. The company will be returning to Chile later this year in September, their first event there of any kind in over 7 years. Sami Zayn took to social media to say that event should be a premium live event for the country. Someone who also co-signed on Sami's demand there was Stephanie, who is of course born and raised from Chile, so she undoubtedly agrees with the idea of her home country getting a premium live event. As of this current moment, it's just a standard live event, and the premium live event schedule for the entire year is already set in place, so it's hard to see them making a change to make the Chile event a premium one. But fans have their fingers crossed there for a miracle for that show to be heavily upgraded for Chile. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.